So next up, we've got a very unusual speaker on an unusual topic. It's a young man who's the Global Director for Young Men for Gender Equality. Interesting speaker. So give a round of applause for Stefan Wedenig.
Thank you. We just have to start the... Can you hear me? Yeah. Good, good. Well, not an easy job speaking after such a wonderful comedian, but of course I will try my best. Team. What does team mean to you? What is the first thing that pops into your mind when you hear the word team? What is your very own definition of team? Go on, give me some examples. Come on, don't be shy.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, good.
People.
People, good.
Dependence.
Good. Another one? I don't bite, come on.
My football club.
Your football club, good.
Shared goals.
Shared goals, very good.
Complementary skills.
Very good, very good. Now, good. Someone else? Good, good. So thank you very much. All those were wonderful definitions of team. They were all correct, of course. And as we could see, every single one of you had a different definition of team. For every single one of you, team meant something different. And just like you, I also have my very own definition of team. A definition I learned to embrace and appreciate throughout my work with my own human rights organization, Young Men for Gender Equality. For me, team means together, education, advantage, and members. Well, I'm now pretty sure that those words, they do not mean anything to you, at least not yet. But allow me in the next 15 minutes to provide you with an explanation what stands behind those words and to provide you with some basic advice on how to lead an international team successfully. Let's get down to it, shall we? Together. Together is the foundation upon which you place everything else. Teamwork means working together after all. Teamwork means together work. It means having common goals, working towards the same achievements, walking down the same path together. But especially in international organizations or internationally led teams, together could also mean a clash of cultural differences, a cultural mix. As stereotypes, so stereotypes in general and cliches are a very good example for that. I'm pretty sure you all have already heard one or two stereotypes or cliches. Well, for example, there is the cliche of Germans. Germans, they do not have a sense of humor. They say exactly what they think, which, by the way, is not a cliche, 100% the truth. And I'm allowed to say this because I'm Austrian. I'm not German, I'm Austrian. And then there is the cliche of people from the south, that they have a more, let's call it, relaxed approach to things. Another thing I had to learn the hard way during my work with my human rights organization, I had to learn that deadline is a very, very relative term. And then there is the cliche of Asians. Asians, they're the workhorses of our economy. They don't complain, they just work, and above all, they're technology geeks. And don't lie, I know when you think about the average Asian male, you think about a person who is absolutely brilliant at programming stuff, right? That's what we all do. The challenge here is to make this cultural mix work. And you will be successful if you follow the next 3 steps: education, advantage, and members. Education. although such a cultural mix can be a mess sometimes, it does have its virtues. Cultural difference means different experiences, different points of view, different lifestyles. Our life is a constant give and take. We learn from each other and we educate each other. Education means mutual understanding. Mutual understanding means respecting each other. And respecting each other means giving each individual team member the feeling they long for, being accepted as a valuable addition to the team whose opinion is highly appreciated. Whenever I think about education, there is one quote that always pops into my mind. A quote by Jack Welch: "An organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage." That's the truth. And speaking of advantage, let's proceed to my next point. Advantage. A good team is always aware of its advantages and disadvantages. That is, weaknesses. Only if you are at all times aware of your advantages and disadvantages, you will be successful. Only if you set yourself apart, if you are better than the rest, then you will create a sustainable impact. A car race is a good example for that. Let's imagine you're driving at the Grand Prix. You set yourself apart. You take the lead. You have to be aware of that advantage, and most importantly, you have to see that very advantage. Because if you don't see your advantage will pretty quickly turn into a disadvantage. The other drivers, they will pretty quickly overtake you and you will end up on the losing side. And we don't want that, do we? Advantage is the thing you work with. It's the only thing you can work with. You cannot work with a disadvantage, can you? You can try to turn it into an advantage, but then again, you're working with an advantage and not with a disadvantage. So advantage means sustainable impact. Only then your team will be able to unfold its true potential and create a worldwide sustainable impact. But of course, you can work on that advantage only together with your team member. And now, ladies and most importantly, gentlemen, one thing. Size does not matter. It's better having a team of 3 people who are committed to the cause than having a team of, say, 100 people worldwide who are not fully committed to the cause. And you know how this saying goes? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And that's 100% the truth. So the configuration of your team is a very, very important aspect. I even would go as far as to say it's the most important aspect. And whenever you think about the configuration of your team, there is one thing you have to keep in mind at all times. More does not mean better. Actually, there are 2 things. The second is, surround yourself with people who are better than you. That is the key to success. That makes you successful, and eventually it also makes your team successful. And in order to be able to find out what your weaknesses are, what your disadvantages are, you have to be your own judge. A very tough one, of course. You have to be able to evaluate yourself. For example, I absolutely suck at maths. Whenever I see a number, my brain mysteriously, magically disappears. But I'm fairly good at writing stuff. I'm fairly good at hopefully talking. And so I decided, well, let's study law and become the global director of my own human rights organization. We have Africans, Asians, Australians, Europeans. They're all working for and with my organization, and they all bring in their very own talents and their very own advantages. I don't know how to program a computer. I have no idea what those equations mean. Therefore, I have an Asian technical director who is brilliant at this stuff. The president of my organization, along with our CEO, he is from Mexico. He's a Mexican. His family is deeply enrooted with the Mexican economy. So he knows, consequently, a lot of people. So it goes without saying that he is the external face of our organization on the South and North American continent. I, on the other hand, I'm very good at delegating. I'm very good at organizing stuff. Therefore, besides my official duties, I mainly focus on the internal operation processes of my organization. My president is better than I am at what he is doing, and I am better than he is at what I am doing. So we surround each other with people who are better than we are. So let's wrap this up, because I do not want to occupy your time any longer. We have said that the definition of team is together, education, advantage, and members. And I can tell you, a team, a good team, is a global responsibility. It reaches sometimes even awful or a torture. Leading and guiding a team is not only challenging sometimes, it's challenging every time, every single day. Now, I don't know if my advice will make you successful. For everyone's own success story looks different. But there is one thing I can promise you right now. I can give you a watertight promise, a watertight guarantee. Yes, you will cry. And yes, you will swear. And yes, you will want to throw people out of the window. But at the end of the day, you will realize that being a leader means stepping out of your own comfort zone, to think out of the box, to see the bigger picture. And then you will realize that it was worth your while. Because if you see the bigger picture, you will realize that teamwork, or a team in general, is not a responsibility, awful, or a torture. It's actually something great. Teamwork is something amazing and something great. Thank you very much.